Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Meets Screen. My name's Norma, your host or whatever. Listen, this is the third time I'm recording a video related to Ultimatum Queer Love, episodes like 5 through 10. Originally, I did 5 through 8. Didn't get it edited in time to get it up. So I was like, whatever, I'll just do a quick recap. And then 9 through 10, did that like as one video. And then I was like, whoa, like there were so many things I missed that I wanted to talk about some of these, some of the cast. And so I was like, we're gonna have to do it again. So here we are doing it again. We're jumping right in. I'm just gonna go like person to person and give you my thoughts on each person. We'll talk about, you know what, I really don't need to talk about who I think should have been together and who didn't. I don't think any of these people should have been together. Most of these people need to work on themselves and shouldn't be in any relationship, but who am I to judge? So let's jump right in. We're gonna start with Aussie and Sam because it's pretty simple. So Sam, the angel of the show, the all-star, the MVP. She was awesome. I loved when she like tried to give Mildred advice and Mildred tried to come at her and she was just like, I mean, you asked, I'm telling, that's it. I ain't saying you gotta do it. That's just what I do. I also loved seeing her come into her own, and like I loved that her and Tiffany's trial marriage really helped both of them. Speaking on Tiff real quick, I called her Tiffany, like I know that that's her full name, but speaking on Tiff real quick, they also learned so much. They learned effective and healthy communication styles. They tried to take it into the new relationship. More on that later. But Sam also learned to kind of put her foot down a little bit, you know, and not let conversations just die. And if I'm being honest, I don't know about how everybody else felt. I felt like she did an amazing job of balancing, still being considerate of Aussie's feelings, but also being like, I'm not just gonna like stop what I'm feeling to tend to your feelings, right? Because Aussie's not giving her that at all. Aussie is just like, she's a runner, she's a track star. She gonna run away when it gets hard, okay? Like, shorty was just, it was a no for me, dog. Anyways, so yeah, I don't think they should have been together. I mean, I think they could be okay as long as Aussie is aware of what she's doing and is working on it. Let's keep in mind, like, we don't actually know these people at the end of the day. I personally feel like there are people that you can see, and even if you're just seeing edited footage or like 2 hours out of like 50 million hours that are filmed, like they all love to say, people who are bad people are just bad people, right? Because what I do a lot is I end up like looking at their social media, and sometimes I'll think of them and go see what's up. And honestly, most of the time, these people are still those people. And so you're saying this was edited by somebody, but your social media is ultimately up to you. Whether you have someone managing it and posting things, it's still yours. And if you're allowing them to post those things, you stand by those things, period. So whether it's you or someone else, that's you. So if you're still that, then you're that. I feel like Ray's trial marriage with Vanessa gave her the space to kind of like learn herself a little bit, or like start that process. Because it seems like Lexi, as well as probably most people in her life, based on the way she speaks of herself and how unsure of herself she is, I think she just either let other people tell her what to do, or she would do things based on how other people were going to feel about her decision or what other people were going to think. I think being with someone like Vanessa gave her the space to kind of be like, well, what do I want? Like, let me figure that out. You know what I mean? And gave her like that autonomy, because Vanessa is so opposite of Lexi. So I think in that sense, Vanessa was good for her. Ray and Lexi do not need to be together. I think that Ray, like I said, starting that process, I think that where she should have been focused, or should be focused, that was 2 years ago. We don't know where they're at now. But at that time, I think her focus should have been to like be alone and find herself and find her voice, because baby did not have one. And there was a lot of self-loathing, a lot of like beating herself down and up. So there was a lot that like she just, I think, needs to do solo dolo. I think Lexi needed to realize she needed to like slow down and just like live her life. And right now it seems like that's what she's doing, but I think also it's like, I don't know, the times that I've seen her address the show, she doesn't really seem to like take accountability. The most I've seen her take accountability for was in the reunion, and that was just about her language about what Vanessa and Ray did. So I don't know, that hopefully she's figuring that out. Vanessa and Xander, baby, basically, long story short, Vanessa didn't think that she could lose Xander. She was like, I'm so fine, and that's all that needs to be said. I don't know, girl. Self-evaluate or something. She didn't think she could lose Xander. When Xander tells her, like, ooh, I'm kind of feeling Yoli in the beginning, and she's like, oh, how could you do that? Like, she's so mean to me. And, like, she was almost acting like Xander did something wrong, but then it's like, on their last day together, she was telling Xander, like, really explore, like, see if you could see your life with someone that isn't me. Like, really go out there and explore. Because she thought she wouldn't. And then when she did, she was like, oh, she. And then I think she chose Ray just to spite Lexi, because Lexi called her out on her shit, and she didn't like that. So, because the whole beginning of that was her just being like, we should send this picture to Lexi. Lexi would be so mad. Oh, hey, blah, 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 blah. Like, just doing the most, and it was just too much. She did the same thing when she realized Yoli didn't like her, which was to, like, make flirty comments at Mal. And then, like, at the dinner, when she tried to be like, Mal, like she was an option for her, and Mal's like, we had one conversation, and no. Vanessa's with Ray. We see her have a conversation with her dad and Ray of, like, it has to be a few days before they switch back, where her dad is talking about marriages being like leases, and she's like, yes, free spirit, yes, like, yes, you gotta be 100%, and, like, it's okay to explore and all that stuff. And she's like gung-ho all about it, right? And then when she comes back and realizes that Xander actually wants Yoli, suddenly she wants Xander so bad she's writing all these letters, and you're like, girl, stop it, okay? So she wants Xander back. She writes a letter. She's like, I want it all with you. Family, babies, blah. Has dinner with her dad and Xander later on, where she says, I'm ready. And her dad's like, I mean, that's also a little more than likely your ego. You're not wanting to lose Xander. That's making you, like, think that you want that, even if you're not ready. And she's just like, no, Dad, you're all wrong. That's totally not it at all. Or she's like, it's a little bit it, but no. So that's where Vanessa's at. Suddenly she's writing all these letters. She's trapping Xander on hot air balloons with more letters. Like, girl. She just puts her in this awkward predicament where it's like she can't leave. And sure, Xander could have really said how she felt, but, like, that's just situations you don't put people in. If you're gonna talk about serious things with people and decision making, you don't put them in a situation where they feel trapped. So really think about that, because even if you don't intend to, sometimes you do. Xander is loving Yoli, literally. They've said they love each other. Honestly, Xander was ready to go with Yoli, clearly. She says no to Vanessa and tries to pick Yoli. Because she tells her, oh, are we leaving? We're doing this at that dinner when after the switchback. But Yoli isn't sure, which Lord knows why. Here, we'll get to that. So, yeah, needless to say, Xander picks Yoli, and also, based on comments Xander's made after the show, seems like they finally realized how they were being treated by Vanessa and who Vanessa was, which was chef's kiss. That was awkward. So that's them. And that's where they're at. Let's get into Yoli and Mal. Because Yoli really disappointed me. I loved Yoli, and I fought for her even through the reunion. But hindsight's 20/20, and I really had to be honest with myself that Yoli just sucks a little bit. And I don't think that that's her as a person, but, you know, anyways. Mal and Yoli should not be together. Well, I don't know. Before, they seemed like they make sense. They seemed like they gelled well. I think this experiment just messed them up completely. This is my opinion. I'm standing on my opinion. But just like I said, it's my opinion. You don't gotta be mean in the comments. You're stupid, you're dumb. How the hell, you know, like, you don't gotta do all that. You can just express your opinion just like I am. Very respectfully, very kindly, you know? Feel free to do that in my comments. Love to see it. Love to hear the other side of the coin. But, as I was saying, I do not believe that you can be in love with two people at once. Like, in love, want to be with, marry, have children with. I don't. The way I look at it, because here's the thing. She was ready to marry Mal in the beginning. That was the love of her life. That was who she wanted to marry. That's why she came on the show, so that Mal would marry her, right? If you then fall in love with Xander, or in general, any of us out here listening, if you're with one person who you love and believe that's your person who you're going to marry, love, have babies with, do all the things with, and then you find somebody else and you're like, shoot, I love them too. I don't know. Pick that person. Pick that person. Because if you really love this person, you wouldn't have fallen in love with that person. You wouldn't have looked at that person in that way. You just wouldn't. That's how I feel about it. I'm like, if you're in love with someone and then find someone else and you're like, oh my god, I'm in love with them too. Unless you're polyamorous, No. And seriously, unless you are polyamorous and your partner's polyamorous and that's what y'all doing, that's another side of the coin. I'm talking about here right now. One person, what does my dad call it? Unitoto. Which means one vagina in Spanish. So I need help. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. Choose the other person and explore that. If you and this other person meant to be, hopefully they can forgive you for that. You know, but don't stay out of fear or loyalty or any of that, because that's messed up to that person for one, period, point blank. But also go explore that, because that could be the love of your life. That could be the person you're with forever, you know? So that's my opinion. That's my stance on that, period. Stand on it, okay? Next. Now, Mal. Guys, I am not saying what Yoli did was not messed up. Two people can be wrong at the same time. We don't have to choose. This was the same thing in Love is Blind with Cole and Zeneb and anyone who had, like, you don't have to choose. You don't have to be like, well, this person is an angel and is amazing because of what that. It's like, no, they can both have done dumb shit, you know? So Yoli was weird with the lies, with the hugging Xander and doing everything she was doing with him at that dinner after they switched back, like, a lot. The lies, come on now, girl. Oh, that's what you, okay. Like, girl, you knew what they meant. You knew what they meant. Stop playing with me. So that was messed up. What I'm about to say does not negate that, and vice versa. Mal. Yoli was clear to Mal that she had feelings for Xander, that she was in love with Xander, that she didn't know who to choose, that Xander wasn't as cloudy. These were all things that were said as well. So as much as we all want to be like, she told Mal she loved her, and she also told her she loved Xander, and she also told her it wasn't as cloudy with Xander. So I don't want to hear it, okay? So here's where I'm like, Mal does also have to take responsibility for herself. And guys, what I'm about to say does not apply to people in like abusive relationships or who are being manipulated by partners. It's not the same thing, okay? This situation is what I'm talking about. You cannot get two sides of a coin, ignore one, choose to stare at this one, and when it goes wrong, try to blame the person. That's not, you know, Yoli made her look like a fool. You have to accept responsibility. Yes, she made you look like a fool because she was being a butthead. But you made yourself look like a fool as well. You both played a part in that because she was telling you how she felt. And you were like, it's okay. Figure out your feelings. It's fine. I understand your feelings. I hold a place for your feelings with Xander for you. Even into the freaking proposal. I'm not proposing to nobody who's still 50-50 about me and another person. What? Stop it. Nonsense. Anyways, basically, yeah, I just feel like at some point you gotta take responsibility and say, I played a part in that too. I can't even say you called me a fool because listen, I would have done the same thing as Mal only for the simple fact of what I just said before this, of like, if I have a partner who's saying they're in love with somebody else, I'm gonna be like, just go explore that. We'll take a break. I can't promise you I'll be here waiting, but go explore that. Whatever the outcome is, if you gotta holla at me, come holla and then we can talk, but I'm respectfully stepping up out of here. That's just me. So I would have kind of taken Mal's approach in a way. But what I wouldn't have done is then be like, you made me look like a fool. Or like, oh, you was this and you was that. Because Mal did all of this assuming that Yoli was like doing certain things. Like she mentions, oh, I thought that conversation was a closure conversation. And then I'm watching this back. And it's like, okay, you can't blame her for what you thought something was. If she didn't say to you, I'm going to go have a closure conversation with Xander, it's not on her that you assumed it was one thing and then it wasn't. All I'm saying. Also, in a way, Yoli shouldn't have done it. On Yoli's side, she should have known that shit was not cool. But on Mal's side, it's like you kind of gave her permission to by being like, I hold feelings for you and I understand and I want you to explore that, and trying to act like she was cool with her, texting her. Stop it. No. Any normal human would be like, don't do that. That is so messed up. Because she even has that break when she's like, you want to die for you? You want us to fight for you? Like, those feelings should have been there from the beginning. Okay, I'm just saying. From the beginning of like their trial marriage. Mal and Yoli by the end should have just gone their separate ways. Mal and Xander should have gave it a fair shot. I know they did after the fact. I don't think it worked because I think for Xander it was just like, you ain't gonna come up over here after that didn't work. Now we have Tiff and Mildred, and baby. Listen, Aussie is a runner and a track star. But Mildred is a little bit special. a little bit special. We have Mildred and Aussie. Aussie just runs away from Mildred, as she should, man, as she should. I can't say that Aussie was wrong, because Mildred was probably driving her nuts, because Aussie cannot handle even a little bit. So I can only imagine what it took for her to not just leave, but that girl was like, like she was looking around like, I gotta go, I gotta get out my stuff, I gotta be out quickly. So that happens with Aussie, and then we're trying with Tiff, and they beef it because Mildred want to be interrupting people at all points, and Tiff tries to be like, maybe you can not interrupt me, but then Mildred's like, so I just won't talk. How do I not interrupt you? How do I not interrupt you? And Tiff's like, you wait for me to finish talking and then you talk. You don't interrupt. Like, I'm not sure what you mean. Shorty said, I'm Latina. Is what we do. Let me tell you something. Yes, Latinas, Latinos, we be shouting. We be shouting to the mountaintop. I'm just kidding. I'm exaggerating. But Latinos are loud. I get it all the time. I gotta hear Cameron and his family. They be like, shh, girl, you loud. And I'm like, yes, I am. I've accepted it. So should you. Just kidding. Just kidding. In settings, we know where, you know, if I'm at home with them, like chilling at their house or something, then I'm like, yeah, I'm loud, I'm sorry, you know. But if it's in a place where I need to be quiet, I'm be quiet. I'll be quiet, but I'll be talking again. So, no, you know, like Tiff beautifully put it, respect has no ethnicity. So that was dumb. That was dumb, baby. Stupid. Anywho. They get engaged. We already see that. We already see where that's headed. Tiffany talking about, you got what you wanted. And then Shorty, in the proposal, Mildred's like, so can I talk now? Are you done talking? Whoa! I would have got up off my knee and been like, never mind. Cameras. Me voy. Nah. We knew where that was headed. So, of course, we get to the reunion. Ray and Lexi are still together, but shortly after the reunion being filmed in January, they break up. So they're not together anymore, as they should. I didn't think they made sense. No one else but Aussie and Sam are together, and I'm very interested to see if they are still together present day. But they're together. They've been waiting for the show to come out so that they can inform their people and do all of that. Aussie very confidently was like, you know, we'll have 2 weddings, one in Australia, one here, so everyone can attend. So that's wonderful, because that means that they are open and ready to, you know, love their relationship out loud. So we love to see it. Vanessa and Xander still not together. Tried to rekindle after it didn't work, and they haven't talked since up until that reunion. So that was that. As I mentioned, Yoli and Xander tried. They said they met up at Coachella. They said they just listened to music. Nothing else happened. They was just vibing. They were planning a trip to Hawaii that Yoli tried to lie about. Mal called out Yoli. Tiff and Mildred. That was a shit show. Listen, yo, so according to Tiff, Netflix had the police report, had everything about this DV situation. I cannot believe that they had that in hand and allowed Mildred to be at this reunion, and that they allowed Mildred to act the way she acted. Like, that was nuts to me. I love all the eyeliner jokes. Shorty said she don't wear eyeliner, and there was eyeliner on her in all these different occasions. Not to mention, Tiff wears eyeliner. We watched her put on makeup, so okay. Also, the argument with Aussie, she was putting on eyeliner in the bathroom. But I digress. She states that Tiff was like cheating, texting women, all this stuff, and Tiff's like, we broke up. And she's like, I don't care, we were living together. Then she tries to say it was really hard, I left Tiff, and Tiff's like, you left? Do you mean like left the house? And she's like, yes, I physically left. And she's like, oh, okay, because we were broken up, bitch. Trying to play it. They were broken up. That's all I have to say to Mildred. She sound dumb. Also, unprovoked, she brings up the DV. She brings up being the perpetrator, which is okay. Because Tiffany was not planning on bringing that up. And I mean, that seemed pretty clear to me. Yeah, so Tiffany gets gaslit, breaks down, and is just like, I'm out, which she should have done. And it's just nuts to me that Netflix had that and still allowed them to get on here and for that shit to happen the way it did. The editing also stressed me the heck out, okay? Like, you could tell that they were editing things out of order to make it look like a conversation that it wasn't. And I'm sure they've done that in the other shows, but it hasn't been as blatantly obvious and as aggressive. So, like, the whole time I'm just like, what actually happened on the show? Because none of what you're showing is even real. So while I do not identify with the LGBTQ community, unless you consider a ally, then I do.
Ally.
But that's like one of my favorite freaking TikTok sounds. But I had some feelings, and I'm interested to see, because honestly most of the feedback I've seen is like, oh my god, we relate to this so much. But it wasn't a lot, because I don't know, at least from the videos I've seen, I haven't seen a ton of people in the community reviewing, if that makes sense. I'm just now seeing more people in the community reviewing. My thoughts are simply the portrayal here. I feel like the hetero shows always have, somehow they manage to have one couple that's like healthy and like chill and good vibes, you know, and people in general. Like it's like a balance of like people who are batshit crazy and normal people. Right? Like it's like this balance of like, yeah, there's drama, but like there's also normal people. And I feel like with this, it was very much what's going on here, you know, because even Sam, who was like a normal, cool human, was like taking this crap from Aussie that she should, like it was just like there wasn't a lot of good. Does that make sense? And then I don't understand why the one show that was queer had to be so chaotic and just like, what the heck? Like, reality TV is like, turn your brain off, watch some junk. This didn't feel that way, especially that reunion. Like, it was, anytime anyone reviewed this, they were like, yo, the chaos, you know, like that's how every video started every time. But I want to know your thoughts. I want to know if any of you in the community felt that way. I'm not pushing that on anyone, and if you don't, in no way am I saying like that's what this show was. It's just like that's the thoughts I had, and I'm interested to see if like other people in the community did too. Wrapping this up, I probably should have said this in the beginning, but here I am. I did my best with the pronouns. If I misgendered anyone, I promise you it was not intentional. It's all love over here. I know that most people understand that like people are learning. Also, like in my life, I don't have people who identify as non-traditional pronouns, so it's a tough thing to like practice and say, but it really is all love from over here. So I hope you enjoyed. Like the video if you did. Comment down below your thoughts on what I just spoke about my thoughts on the show in general. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!